Hello, my fair citizens. My name is Strider. I'm the mayor of Sodium City, and for this week's town hall, we are graced with Arjuna. He is one of the hosts of the ArenaCraft podcast, so make sure to follow them on all of the social media platforms. Stay salty and enjoy the video. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Strider Stone. I'm the mayor of Sodium City, and welcome back to the town hall. How are you today? We are greeted, or we are not greeted. We are not greeted. We are gathered here today with ArenaCraft. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do for the intro.
Am I supposed to jump in here?
I have literally no idea. I have no idea. I don't know what I'm supposed to do for an intro. I have literally no idea. I've never done a real intro for the podcast. I have no idea.
Well, I mean, that sounds like that's your thing then, man. You know, you're raw, you're real. And
I need like a script or something.
Nah, you don't
need
a script.
Wait, what do you do for your intro?
Dude, you
have to have something.
You would feel like some people I think can do the intro thing. I feel like you would feel like you were being a wanker if you had an intro, you know?
Yeah. I have no idea.
Yeah, you're killing it, dude. You're doing great. So we have like an intro format for the ArenaCraft podcast, but like I have to mess with it every week, right? Because otherwise I get really bored and I start to feel like a douchebag. So typically what I do is I try to think of something that would make like CGB smile, or you know what I mean, or just like something that would kind of ease the tension a little bit.
Huh. So you just make a joke typically, or
yeah, dude, I make myself a clown, man. Like by the end of most of my intros, I look like a complete idiot. And not like a cool idiot, you know, like one of those people who's like, I'm an idiot, and you're like, yeah, no, you're still pretty cool. No, I look like a fool, you know.
I feel like maybe that's what I want to be, but I have no idea if it actually ends up turning out that way. It might end up being one of those cringe cool idiots where it's just a combination of everything, where nobody has any idea what's going on.
Dude, that's what I'm doing, man. I promise you. I promise you. You know, I mean, people forgive you for it, right? They see where you're going, like, and I mean,
Yeah.
you're a cool ass content creator, so.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm just kind of figuring everything out. I don't know exactly what people want, so I'm just trying new things to see what people want. Obviously, if people really like specific kind of content, then other people in the community will do that content and they'll do it better. And so that will push me to either do something better or come up with different ideas.
Yeah.
Is that the same with podcasts? I've like never done podcasts, and I don't really listen to too many podcasts just in general. So I have no idea. It seems like a completely different world.
Yeah, I mean, my experience with podcasting is like you pick a topic and you have to stay pretty focused on that topic. I mean, streaming to a certain extent is the same way, right? Like you establish your brand as a streamer, and if you deviate too far from that, like unless you're doing something really like novel and exciting and taking it to the next level, I feel like your viewers will be like, what the hell, you know, like I expected this from you, right? And now something's different.
Yeah.
So
it's one of those, if you start out as variety, then it usually works.
Exactly.
But if you start out tunneling and then you change, people are gonna drop off. Usually the drop off I hear is about 75%, which is
yeah,
that's
ridiculous. You don't want it. You know, no one wants to see that in the stats.
Yeah, nobody. It's gotta hurt when you see that type of drop. Some people worry way too much about numbers, and it's not healthy. But
yeah, I think it's true. I mean, you want to keep an eye on them. You want to see what's moving the needle, right? But like, if it keeps you up at night, it's not good. You know, it's like investing in crypto or something. You know, it's like you like do it if it's fun, but like if you're losing hair over it or whatever, like nah, dude. You know.
Yeah. Are you a crypto person?
I've like just started like dipping my toe into it. You know. I'm
Oh.
I'm a reluctant investor, basically, you know. I've reached
Are you doing
the
the shit coins or are you doing like real stuff?
nah. I'm like your most like mutual fundy, like keep it safe kind of an investor, you
Got
know what I'm
it.
saying?
All right.
It's
Yeah,
just
that makes a lot of sense.
yeah, it's just all about that BTC, man.
Mm-hmm. How much you got in there right now?
I don't
Like
know.
modest 20,000, you know.
It's like it's like probably a couple of K or something. I haven't kept track of it.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah. I don't even know what mine's at anymore. I farmed a little bit back in like 2012, 2013. I'm trying to remember. It's like way back in the heyday. Um, but I know I didn't even have one because my computer wasn't very strong back then.
I mean,
But it's probably
even
worth something now.
yeah, even a percentage of a Bitcoin that you found back in the day is like that's probably a chunk, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's definitely not bad.
yeah.
Oh,
That's
I should probably actually check my wallet.
you
It's been
got in
so
early,
long.
man. I'm impressed.
Yeah. It's gotten such a bad rep. I watch, oh my gosh, what is his name? Now I gotta look it up. It's some guy that just investigates all these Bitcoin or these shitcoin scams that any content creator is just doing all over the place, and they're just scamming their audience. Like Ice Poseidon just got caught. What was that?
So what are they just
Uh,
like trying to drum up are they trying to like pump and dump with their own audience or what?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So CoffeeZilla is the YouTuber that just investigates various coins and finds out that a lot of them are scams, just rug pulls. Ice Poseidon was the most recent one. FaZe had a big issue with it. I'm trying to think. I know Jake Paul had one too.
Oh
There's
God.
so many creators that had it. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's disgusting for sure. Like not only are you rug pulling, you're rug pulling your own fans.
Yeah,
You're like
that's what I'm
actually just
saying, dude.
stealing money from your fans.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what are you really invested in? Like, is it worth it in for them in the long run? Like, I don't get that.
It is. They're making 500K. I think Ice Poseidon made 500K total, and then he had to pay his developer, I think like 200K. So he made 300, and that was 2 weeks of work.
Yeah, but I mean, think about like, if you've got like a really big reach on YouTube or whatever, and you're monetizing that successfully, like, you're hoping to make that kind of money every year, right?
Yeah, but he was like the biggest Twitch streamer for so many years before he got banned. That was like way long ago. And then he went to YouTube. He always had a really really bad reputation.
Mm,
But I never watched him, so I don't know exactly what he did.
mm, hmm. Yeah, I'm out of my element here for sure.
Did you ever watch any Twitch streamers like back in the day,
Not before
early
Magic, no.
2010s?
Yeah, no.
Really?
Okay, so
Magic Arena or Magic Online?
it was really Arena, although, so check this out. I actually do remember watching Day 9 before Twitch came along. So he was on, maybe it was Justin TV. Uh,
Jesus.
and here's how I
That's
got
like
into it, right? So StarCraft 2
wild.
came out. And I was like an OG StarCraft player, not in the competitive
I
sense,
didn't
but
know
I
that.
just love that game. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
this was
I
before I
love
was making
watching it.
content or anything. I just loved it, right? And so I started to play StarCraft 2, and I kind of geeked out on it, and that's how I found Day 9. And so that must have been like 2010. Yeah. And yeah, he was streaming. I'm pretty sure it was Justin TV he was streaming on. And then, yeah, he
Probably.
eventually transitioned to Twitch at some point. But
Yeah. When Twitch bought them.
yeah, exactly. So, he must have
Yeah.
been, I'm sure he was like one of their top creators at the time.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
think it was him and Destiny
Okay.
were the biggest. And
Hmm.
Destiny was also a StarCraft 2 player, I know that.
Oh, okay. Nice.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't follow the competitive scene super closely. I'd like every now and then I'd just like pull up some some replay of some tournament game or
Pretty
whatever,
funny.
and
Yeah.
just kind of bask in the difficulty of it all. I mean, that's like,
Yeah.
dude, like when people,
Like, how fast are you
oh my
clicking? What
God,
is
it's just,
this?
I can't even imagine it, man. Like it makes me stressed just thinking about it, Like,
Yeah.
I think like I,
Did you see the clip of that one Korean playing with his foot and he won with his foot?
no
He was in
way,
a
dude.
tournament. Yeah.
Oh my
It
God.
wasn't the whole time. It was like right near the end of it. Oh my gosh.
Are you like, do you mean that he was using both hands and then he was getting his foot in for some like additional key presses or what?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, he was using one of his hands and then his foot. That
okay, so
was
he was
it.
just flexing.
Yes, definitely. He was being a total douche. But it was really funny. Oh, now I gotta find it. Yes. All right, I found it. All right, I'll send it to you.
All right, yeah,
You
yeah,
can check
yeah.
it out later.
We can go down that rabbit
Yeah,
hole.
you can check it out later. It's
Nice,
super good.
nice.
This is the middle. This is like a big ass tournament. This is StarCraft 1, I think.
Okay. Dude, I was still
Yeah.
blown
Oh
away.
my
Like,
gosh.
people still play Brood War? That blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, okay, I guess it's like Moto, right? It's the same thing where like arenas come out, but people still play it. Like, so that's fair
Yeah.
enough, but it still kind of blows my mind.
Some people just can't let the past go, but I hear a lot of people didn't like StarCraft 2 when it first came out.
Mm.
But I know a lot of people did really like it. Because when I went to BlizzCon the first year it came out, the tournament, I was like, this is awesome. I loved watching it. I was like, this is, yeah. I was like, I don't know why people don't like this. This looks sweet. And they said the skill level was a little bit lower. I'm like, well, I don't play it, so I have no idea.
I mean,
But it looked cooler.
to me, that just translates to like they improved the UI, right? It's like maybe it's a
Yeah,
little,
basically.
it's just an easier to get around game. But what, I don't know. What do I know about StarCraft?
Yeah. Did you play the first one
I
as well
did.
as the second one?
Oh yeah, no, I
Yeah.
played a ton. I played a ton. I remember like, because I was really into Warcraft, right? I was into Warcraft 2, and
Mm.
that was like my game. And then when StarCraft came out, it just blew my mind. It was like it was so cinematic and it had like so many cool animations, and that was a
Uh-huh.
really good game, man. StarCraft was a really good game.
Yeah.
And
It's true.
I've actually said that if there was one IP that I'd like, if there was one crossover IP that I'd like to see in the Magic universe, it's actually StarCraft. I mean,
Oh,
I doubt that Blizzard
that's
would let that happen, right? Because, Hearthstone and all that.
yeah, because Hearthstone.
But, but,
What if they traded IPs?
oh, there you go. There you go. Like,
You never know. You love to see Teferi and Jace in Hearthstone.
I mean, see, no, that's one of the cringe things about Magic, though, is like, I feel like one of Magic's big failings is that over 30 years, I feel like they've never managed to make a character or a storyline that was strong enough to transcend its own audience, right? So, and I mean, I enjoy it. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. But like, if you try to talk to non-Magic people about like Jace and Chandra and Nissa and Emrakul and all, like they glaze over, right? It's just not. It doesn't really translate that well.
I don't think it's good at all. I think world building, awesome. Character development, awesome. Everything else, horrible. They can't link anything together properly. I'm just like, what is happening? It reminds me of like the Marvel DC universe. It's just all over the place, and they try to connect it every once in a while, and it just doesn't make any sense.
This doesn't work
Like,
out.
what is this?
I mean,
Yeah, I made a Tamio lore thing last week. It was it seemed really bad, but a lot of people liked it.
nice. No, I mean, so here's the thing, like,
Uh,
I think that there are some characters that are so well conceived and so well illustrated that they're really captivating, right? So Tamio is a great example of a character where like the concept of Tamio and the art of Tamio are fantastic. But when, like, for example, it's so cringe for
What do you
me.
mean by that?
Like,
Why do you?
okay, like for example, Tamio's like, some kind of otherworldly being, right? I don't really know the history of her, right? But she's cool looking, like she's
Yes.
you know what I mean?
She's so boring though.
Well,
So she's part of these moon people basically, but she just hangs out in a like some craft while they float around and read books. They're just trying to accumulate knowledge, which is cool or whatever. And then she got sparked and then she planeswalked to Innistrad and noticed there was something really weird about the moon because it was turning things into vampires and werewolves and stuff. So she hung out and then met two random people. I forgot exactly who it was.
it's
And
Jimmy.
then they, yeah, and then they randomly ended up going into Kamigawa, like the future, out of nowhere, and then got captured by Jingataxis and Tezzeret. I don't know. And then they made her into a Phyrexian. Now she's guarding the most powerful scrolls that ever existed. So I guess it's kind of captivating. It's weird now, but
I mean,
she didn't seem to have an interesting backstory, and how she got to where she is now doesn't make any sense. But yes, the artwork, fantastic.
right? I mean, so
Totally
well,
agree
that's
with
what I
that.
say is like the artwork is really cool, and just like the concept of the character is really cool, right? And like, who knows? Some weird alien lady, like, yeah, maybe she's not gonna be fun to talk to over a drink in the way that you might, like conceive of a character being compelling or whatever, right? Like, but I think the concept of Tamio is very cool, and for me, it's really painful when you like, fire her up in arena and you like activate the thing, and she's like, to the library, and I'm just like, are we like really? Is like is
True,
that
true.
is
Okay.
that the best that we could have done? Like like this is the badass who imprisoned Emrakul in the moon. Like have some respect for your character. I just it's cringe, man. I
but
can't do it.
but to the library.
I mean, look, she likes her library, all right? It's just like
Yeah.
it's a bit adolescent, right? Like I and I talk about this a lot, but one of the things I really enjoy about Magic is that it in theory appeals to an older audience, right? And I think that like some of the world building and some of the characterization that's done with the artwork and with the concepts are really interesting, right? Um, and so it that has always appealed to me about the game. And when I went to other games like, Legends of Runeterra or even Hearthstone or whatever, it's hard for me to immerse myself because I feel like they're treating me like a child. And it's like I can take that to a certain extent, but after a certain point I just can't do it, right? And so I've always
Interesting.
appreciated that Magic had like a bit more of a just like an adult bearing to it.
Yeah.
And I feel like some of these choices they've made on Arena have kind of cheapened that, and they've kind of made it like they've angled it a bit closer to a kid's game. And I think that the voice acting in particular is really has taken it in that direction. And for me, it feels like a missed opportunity.
Some of them definitely have. Some of them they sound too constipated sometimes. Like Ugin and Ashiok. They definitely they definitely do.
Dude, the best one is Bolus when he's just like
No.
I
Like,
don't
how long are you gonna say no before you die? What
like
are you doing?
that's yeah, just like come on, man. Really? The other one that I never get tired of is the dead cat sound. You know what I'm talking about? It's like the zombie cat,
No.
and it's basically just like and they just give it to a bunch of cats now. It's not even like some of them aren't even dead, but you play a cat and it's like, oh, you know what I'm talking
Oh
about?
yeah, yes, I know
I'm like,
exactly what you're
I'm
talking.
like,
I'm like, what is
is that
that?
the like who green lighted that, right? Who like heard that in the studio and was like, thumbs up, A plus.
Sold. What's
Like,
the coolest sound effect in the game?
oh, the coolest sound. Okay. For me, it's got to be the freaking the improvised sound effect. And
Ooh, when the gears
the
happen?
gears do, and then
Okay.
there's like that little
Yeah, yeah.
animation too. Like every time that happens, I'm just like, oh yeah,
Okay.
this is great.
That's true. I do like that one.
What
I
about
think
for
the
you?
best one is the Bolus Ultimate, the 5 mana Bolus Ultimate.
What does he do?
It's like, wham. I don't know. It's so cool
Oh,
sounding.
it's just
If
like
you haven't
a
heard it,
it's
it's a weird like sonic wave thing. It's a whoom, but
okay.
it's
Sick.
it's so cool. It's so unique, and it's the only sound in the game that has that, or it's the only thing in the game that has that sound. Nothing
Okay.
else has it.
Respect.
But it's easily my favorite one. And so if
Respect.
anyone has a bolus and they're about to ult it, I just let them do it. That's one thing I will never surrender to is a bolus ult. Like, do it. I want to hear it.
So I love it because Bolus is really spanning the full range, right? Like he's got like both the coolest sound effects in the game and like some of the just like saddest, cringest moments as well.
Yeah. So does his brother Ugin. Ugin's bad too. Ghost Run.
It's been too long. See, this is the problem, right? You play historic where all this
Yeah.
stuff happens. It's been so long since I've like interacted with any of that stuff, man.
Are you standard exclusive too?
I mean, it's mostly standard in alchemy. I mean, that's the content
Mm.
that I'm making. Lately, I've been getting into brawl more because I just got really
Historic brawl
tired.
or standard
Yeah,
brawl?
definitely historic brawl.
Okay, okay.
You're like, woo.
Give me a heart
All right.
attack.
I was worried I was
It's
gonna
like
have to end
60
this
card brawl.
early.
What do you do? I know. And Nicole? And Nicole?
Yeah,
Not releasing?
it's it's one of those ideas that like as soon as you get it off the drawing board, it just no one's into it, you know. I'm surprised they even still want it to be a thing, like 60 card brawl. It just seems like a blunder to me.
Oh yeah, yeah. Does anyone even play it?
I
I don't know
mean,
a single person that plays it.
yeah.
Not a single person. I want to join the queue just see how long it would take. It's like
Dude,
5 minutes.
dude, that should be a series like content creators all try 60 card brawl and just like document the
Oh,
sordid
please
tales.
no. No way. Oh, that would be a nightmare. Oh,
It's
I don't
this
even want to touch that.
hidden slimy corner of the multiverse.
Oh my God. Do you play Commander at all? Or are you
I
strictly Arena?
No, I have been starting to play Commander in paper. So I was off it for a long time. I'm a person who's fortunate enough to have a really dedicated play group in my area. And and I got started with them playing limited. And that's actually like it's probably my biggest passion in the game is playing paper, like limited and paper. Um
Draft or sealed?
Mostly draft, yeah. Sealed, I don't know. I feel like sealed is an inferior format, but that's just me.
Oh, damn it.
Shots
That's
fired.
probably why I'm good at sealed and not draft. I'm
Hey,
horrible at draft, but I'm really good at sealed.
dude.
Really good at
No,
sealed.
it's a skill set. I mean, it's a skill set. Like you should feel proud of that. Like a lot of people run screaming, you know, they just like they can't handle it.
Yeah.
So like
I win pre-releases. That's it.
dude, I mean, that's a claim to fame for sure. I've won a couple of pre-releases and they felt like disproportionately large achievements in my Magic career.
Really? Do they have drafts at pre-releases?
No.
Is it just sealed? It's just sealed, right?
Yeah, it's just sealed because you can't like you can't buy the product, right? So they just They hand out the pre-assembled sealed packs, and that's it.
Hmm. I thought they did now because somebody on my Discord server opened a box and they
Really?
said that on the pre-release the store was able to sell it.
Wow.
I was like,
Okay.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I
I
don't
thought you
remember
would
being able
just
to do
win
that.
a box because if you win, you won a box.
Yeah,
That was cool, but I don't remember being able to buy anything.
agreed.
But I haven't been to a pre-release since like 2005 or something.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like I was playing a lot of draft with this play group, and they also play Commander, and they're always like, come on, Arjuna, let's get you into Commander. And I thought it was the most memey thing ever, dude. Like I was just not here for
It
it.
needs to be.
Well, and I mean, here's the thing, like I'm not trashing on Commander players. It's just that for me, I was in this very spiky mindset, right? And and I do
Uh,
feel like okay, this is gonna sound a bit controversial, but I feel like Magic was designed to be a two-player game. And so I think it's really cool that people like
and it
developed.
was.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I think it shows from the design of the game, right? And so it's cool that people made a multiplayer format, and I think they've done a very good job with it. And I think that the Magic dev team has started to design cards that are more fun in that environment. But I still feel like the fundamentals of the game are geared towards a two-player game. And it was really hard for me to get over that when I was playing Commander because I just like I just felt like I was playing Magic like wrong. You know what I mean? Like it didn't feel right to me. But I mean,
Wait, so how'd you feel about alchemy then?
I personally I've been fine with alchemy because
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean I see what you did there. I see what you did there. You're like trying to gotcha me or something. But here's so
No, there's no gotcha. I was just trying to see the comparison because
yeah,
you
yeah,
said
yeah.
you were upset about because you were spiky, but I don't know about now because most content creators aren't really spiky anymore. Because when you're spiky, you don't have a job
or
when you're in MTG now.
or you treat magic like a job, right? Um,
Yes.
but well, so for me, the difference is like alchemy it's a different take on magic, but it's still like 1v1 competitive in that sense. And I feel like it hasn't violated the rules of the game, which stood out to me as defining the game, right? And so again, like this is all subjective, right? So everyone like there are people who are like alchemy is not the magic that I know and love, and that's totally
Oh yeah,
fine.
everyone hit. I upset so many people.
so so tell me like what's your platform with alchemy then?
Oh, I don't care. I think it was the best thing to happen to Magic.
Dude,
Um,
I think it's
period.
sweet.
Because
So tell us
Magic
why.
Arena has given them the most money in a super long time outside of Commander, obviously. But Arena has done a lot, and Alchemy makes people go to Arena, which makes them spend more money. That so financially, it's a great thing, but also it's adding a whole new dimension to the game that makes it more fun because first of all, when they announced historic, it was supposed to be a fun format until they incorporated all of Pioneer and then it was going to split off and they said it was going to have the same power level as modern. That was their initial announcement. But they said it was supposed to be a casual format. So now I'm thinking that their casual format is supposed to be alchemy, but I don't even know if that's going to be the case. It still feels like it's going to be historic, but people like hate historic now because of what alchemy did to it. But I still think historic is perfectly fine. I think historic needs to have those alchemy cards because I like the balance changes. But now they said that they're going to look at the cards before they make the changes when they put them in historic instead of just making sure that all the changes go through, which I think is a great idea.
I mean, they should like if the cards are going to end up there, and especially if the majority of their life cycle will end up being in that format, right? Like they're only going to be in
Hmm.
standard for what, 1.5 years or 2 years or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
and like, so they're going to spend the majority of their time in historic. So, they do need to be balanced as such. I mean, I guess they probably just gave themselves a pass on that because they're digital only cards, right? So that their thinking is
Yeah.
probably we'll just mess with them. Like once they're out of standard, we'll just rebalance them for historic and good to go, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I am curious to hear your take, right? Because I mean, you play historic day in and day out. I don't, right? Like I try to keep up with the format enough, but like I felt like it was really overblown. Like I felt like people reacted way disproportionately to the introduction of the alchemy cards in historic. But I mean, that was just my perspective. What did you think?
Yeah, people really didn't like it. I liked it. I just like changes in general. I like constant changes to the metagame because I think that's a skill in and of itself. I think there should be patches every week, maybe every 2 weeks, like every other game that I used to play. um, because some things just require changes. If you're not going to make changes, it needs to be a game that is strictly skill and has like no randomization whatsoever. Something like Counter Strike or whatever other shooter where there's like no actual room for error. It's just there, it is what it is. There's no shuffler or whatever. There's no shuffling in general. There's no chance for somebody cheating when you're at a LAN center or a tournament, something like that. Um, but yeah, I think making all the changes to historic is just good. I think it needs constant changes in order to keep it exciting.
I mean, I agree. Like digital clients, they need to update, right? And
Hmm.
I think that it's it's forward thinking of them to do it, but honestly, it's in my opinion, it's just them catching up with the space that they're working in, right? Because clearly all of these other
Yep.
games have been doing it. And I mean, I applaud them for doing it, and I think it's fine the way that they're doing it. They just do have a bigger job of it than these other dev studios do because they have IRL paper cards and that changes things. And
Yeah.
I think that some people get a little too like this would be so good for me. I don't understand why it's so hard to do it this way about it. And I think like when you're like magic is like the Titanic, right? Like it's this massive, massive, massive moving ship. And it's like not so easy to steer it in this direction or that direction. And like every choice has all of these consequences and I don't know what they are, right? So it's easy to speculate, but I think that I can see why they tend to be conservative in some of their decisions. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that some people get a little bit too like, it's fine to say, I would like to see it be this way, or I don't understand why it's not this way. But I think it starts to get a little hyperbolic when you're just like, this is a massive mistake. They messed up. I don't, like it's like a bunch of squirrels running the place or whatever, It's I just like, I don't know. I think people are just throwing a tantrum, honestly.
Yeah. I think that's the majority of it. It's kind of like the economy thing. I still think people are kind of blowing it out of proportion. Not gonna lie. Um, there's ways around it. There really is. But oh, I mean, every game, literally every game, if you're trying to play competitively, you're gonna be losing money. You're
Yeah.
gonna go to tournaments. You're gonna be paying money. You're gonna be losing. You may be winning sometimes, but you're gonna be losing a lot. So you're just going to be losing money. In Arena, there is no built in tournaments that you can gain money. You're just going to lose money from gems. So if you don't go on ladder and you're just doing the constructed events, you can earn gold and you can get all the cards. So it's not unobtainable. That's exactly what I did for a year and a half before I had to be on ladder for the views. because that's all people wanted to watch.
Right.
And then if you can do draft and you want to do all the other little events, you can go very, very positive. There's a lot of people that have almost a full collection because of it, and they're free to play. It just depends on how much of the game you actually want to play.
No, it's true. I mean, I've been free to play for about 2 years now. And so it is, for me, it's a little hard to relate sometimes when people talk about how punishing the economy is. Something that I have to remember is that, like, I played a lot of Magic before Arena came out. Sounds like you did as well. And so
Yeah.
I already kind of came in with a game plan, right? Like I was like, I know how this game works. I have an idea of what the current standard match is like. I have this budget deck that I'm going to play, which I know will get me enough wins, and I kind of springboarded that, you know? But I think it's even interesting because I think back on my evolution of playing the platform, and I can see why it's a lot easier for me to manage my collection now. And one of the reasons is, so I remember being in this like fun sandbox of like just getting into arena and being able to play standard, which is not something I used to be able to do, right? Because I just, to like play standard and paper, you'd have to invest in like some $300 deck. And that was that, right? And so in arena, I was like, oh, I can mess around, I can do whatever I want. And what it led to was that I'd come up with an idea for a deck and I'd blow a bunch of wild cards on it and I'd play it on the ladder for like half an hour and I'd be like, this deck is trash. And then I'd like go and do it again. And then I'd go and do it again, right? And then like in the space of like half of a week or something, I've just like torn through all of my stuff and I have all of these bad decks. And so I've been that guy, you know what I mean? Like I've been the guy who did that. And I remember at the time being like, this sucks. Like, when am I going to get more wild cards? And every mythic that I got was like a big deal. And so I think part of what changed it for me was obviously just drafting. Like you get so many resources when you draft, right? But the other thing was that I just got better at evaluating metagames and I got better at not buying bad cards. And I also developed preferences. And so like now, for example, you know, like I know that I love Simic based strategies. I know that I love mid-rangey strategies. I know that I like to try to go over the top, right? And so there's like whole swaths of the meta, like I might not ever craft them. You know, like I don't have the cards for like a competitive mono. Maybe I do at the moment, but like I haven't checked, right? And I think that also really helps you to just like manage what you're doing on the platform, right? Because instead of just like building every Johnny come lately deck every week, I mean, obviously that's going to tax your collection, right? But I think like once you kind of dial in what you like to do and you start to realize like that, you know, I'm not going to enjoy this. And you also start to realize like 4 mana, 4/4 flyer dragons usually aren't good. I'm not going to spend my mythic wild cards on them until someone wins a freaking pro tour with them, right? And so like you learn this about Magic, and then like it real like you're cutting out like whole swaths of stuff that you would have been wasting your wild cards on that you don't even think about anymore, right?
Yes, unfortunately.
I'm curious, when did land destruction become your signature?
Oh. Let's see. I think the first time I ever saw land destruction was I don't know, maybe 3 years ago now. When did Arena become open beta?
That's a
Is
good
that 3 years
question.
ago? Like December 3 years ago?
Something like that. Was it
Something like that.
2017, 2018? Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, it was right around there, because I saw Ollie Eldrazi play a Boros land destruction. And I was like, what is this?
Oh, I remember
I
that
saw
deck.
Haphazard
Bombardment.
Bombardment
Yeah,
for the
dude.
first time.
That was
and
a sweet
I saw
deck.
Star of Extinction for the first time. And it just kind of went off from there. I think he started with Chromatic Black. That was the first deck I saw him build. And I was like, this deck is awesome. And then it was a Boros Land Destruction, which was sweet. And then he went to the Magic School Bus deck.
I don't even remember
yeah,
that deck. What was that?
it was some infinite combo with Omniscience and um 1,000 Year Storm,
Oh God.
and I think you looped something with the graveyard and in your hand, and then eventually you would get something out of the sideboard with Mastermind's Acquisition, and it was usually, oh man, what's that card? You like target somebody to draw 7 cards.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I forgot what that was, but yeah, so you would have like 30 stacks, and you
Overwhelming
would just
insight,
target
I
the
think.
opponent, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And so you would just target the opponent like 30 times, and then they would
Just
drop
deck
their deck
them.
and lose.
Nice.
Yeah, it
Dude.
was the stupidest thing. But there was so many things in sideboard that you could kill them with. There's burn spells, stuff like that, but you would always go with the card draw because it was funnier. But once I
Man.
saw that, I got into that and Primal Amulet. Those were the two ones I got into. But do you have any signatures?
I mean, people know me as a Simic mage. Apparently, I've become like a turtle mage as well. So
A turtle mage? What?
yeah, yeah. It happened on the podcast. I think we had MTG Nerd Girl on the podcast one time, and she
Uh-huh.
was just titillated by the way I said turtle. And so I like CGB started kind of just like every time I said it, he'd like make a big deal out of it, and eventually it just kind of became my thing. And so it's actually fun though
But you don't
because
play turtles?
well, so like they every now and then they'll release like a new Simic turtle, right? And so the first one that really captured my imagination was Condrix Cultivator. And that card was actually a player in the standard 2022 format. I don't know if you spent any time in that format, but
No.
it was actually a really cool format. Like I'll tell anyone who wants to listen who didn't play that format, like it was probably the most fun and balanced standard format that I've ever played. It was like
Oh wow.
it felt like you could literally just prototype a deck and throw it together and just like get wins on the ladder with it. Like it's just like whatever you wanted to do was possible.
Like,
It was so
I
good.
built 2 decks with it and I just died on turn 3 every time. I felt like it was faster than historic,
Really?
honestly. Yeah.
Wow.
I think I maybe played 5 games total.
That surprises
And
me.
yeah, it was faster than historic for sure. I think it was just the lack of removal options was
Mm.
probably what it was, looking back or remembering back.
It's true. It
Yeah,
was, yeah, it didn't have a lot of amazing answers, which meant the control wasn't particularly well positioned. But
unfortunate.
it was really like it was so it had this like deep and rich mid-range going on. And so you
Yep.
could do
And
things,
mono green.
dude. Well, so Mono Green was one of the best decks in the format, and what I realized was that Cyclone Summoner just completely decimates that deck. And so it was actually I think MTG Joe was the person who originally like released the deck list. And I think
Uh-huh.
for him, it was literally like, oh, I threw this together. It looked fun. It did surprisingly well for me. Here you go. Right. It's just like, I'm done with this. And I looked at it and like something clicked in my mind. And I was like, this deck is going places. So like I took it up and it was my thing. And like I was for weeks, I was like, this is one of the best decks in the format. No one's paying attention. And like I feel like I really drove that one home. So, but anyway, so it featured the Quandrix Cultivator, which was, this cute turtle from Strixhaven. And I kind of fell in love with that card. It became like a signature card of mine. And now they've released this new turtle, which I don't remember the name of it, but it's like the Sky Turtle, basically. And so now that's what I'm playing with.
Sky Turtle in the
It
wait, in this set?
yeah. It's let's see if I can pull it up.
Kamigawa? I know, I'm looking for it right now.
Colossal Sky Turtle. That's the one.
It's
Which
a new Sky Turtle.
which by the way, like in my mind, I always want to call it like colossal fucking Sky Turtle because you often hear those two
Because
words
obviously.
together. So yeah, it's the colossal fucking Sky Turtle, and yeah.
I mean, it makes sense when you put it that way. Do you play any of the other turtles, like the 05, and then do high alert? And it's
No, I mean
attack
I'm
people.
not like I play playable
Oh, that's right.
strategies,
You're a
man.
spike. You're a spike. I
I
forgot. I forgot.
only
I forgot.
I only smoke the good turtles, you know what I'm saying?
Uh, mm-hmm. I see how it is. Messing with my
I
turtles.
I
I
have
don't even play those.
I have been witnessed high alerting at various points in the play queue.
I haven't seen. I actually saw high alert 2 days ago, maybe on release day. I'm like, what is this? And they had a turtle.
Yeah, I
I
mean
wonder
the
if they had the sky
05
turtle.
the O5
Oh,
is
that's right. Yes, the colossal sky turtle. I fell in love with this card. I agree. I
yes. All
played this.
right.
I played this in an enchantment deck. It was either yesterday or 2 days ago. It was so sweet. The returning a card from your graveyard to your hand at instant speed for 3 mana. So
It's
stupid.
so money,
So
dude.
stupid.
It's so sweet. Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
big fan.
Yeah. Huge fan. Huge fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was doing that with Abzan Ultimatum and the new Tamio
Oh, heck
and
yeah,
the old
dude.
Tamio. Oh, that's such a good one. That's right.
All right.
I think that video is coming out on like Monday or Tuesday or something.
Little four color
That's a good
action
one.
there. Yeah. It's a good
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. Because Tamio's just bringing stuff back. Yeah, but that turtle is so good. It was just doing everything you needed to do the whole time. You're all, I either need an answer that I already used, or it is an answer itself, or a temporary answer. And
Yeah.
you're like, okay, well, whatever.
They
It's
don't
such a good card.
dude, people don't respect turtles, man. I'm just saying, They will.
Has anyone been using it in Alchemy or Standard right now?
So I mean, I was playing it in a deck which the one James kind of got me going on, which is like I still can't remember the name of this stupid card. Soul Sister Recall or whatever. It's like the mythic enchantment that lets you trade a permanent in your yard for one that you sack on the field of the same type.
That's black and white, right?
Yeah, it's black and white, yeah.
It's 5 mana,
You
I
got
think.
it. You got it. So it's
Something
called
like
like
that. Yeah.
Spell Sister or something.
It's yeah.
Um and so yeah, so I mean he built out this deck which is really cool actually. It's you're just like getting back sagas from the yard, and the turtle's really important in that deck because it's like both, it's something you can sack to it and it's something you can get back with it, and it does all the in-between stuff like you were talking about, so it's just it's a good time.
True.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, somebody wanted me to brew around that today, I think. I was looking at it. I was like, interesting. It didn't seem good though.
I mean, give it a try.
But I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'll have to give it a try.
I mean, I don't know, like
The sagas are so good right now
it,
though.
it in the context of historic, I don't know how it holds up, but I was doing some work
Yeah.
at standard. It was decent.
Interesting. Wait,
Mhm.
what sagas are you using with it then?
So I actually one of the sweetest combos is the frickin' God, I'm so bad with these card names. It's the Is It Giants based board wipe saga. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Battle of Frost and Fire.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so that card is
The
so
Dragon Force saga.
money in the deck because it comes down and it takes out like most of your opponent's creatures and planeswalkers and stuff. And then
Yeah.
like it scries and then it draws cards, and the whole deck is basically expensive cards. So like you're regularly getting like all three of the things to pop off, and then you just keep getting it back from the yard. Like I had a game today where like I played one, damaged the board, and then like sacked it to get another one back from the yard to kill some larger creatures and stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, and then you're scrying and drawing cards, and it's amazing in the deck. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, it's also the Kami War. I saw you playing with that card. So
Oh yeah, that card is amazing.
yeah, so that card makes an appearance, and
People underestimate that
it's
card.
so
Is World
good.
Tree in Alchemy?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah, that's kind of necessary.
exactly. Yeah.
That helps a
I
lot.
I've found five color very, very doable. Like the lands are pretty good for it. I mean, we don't have the tri lands, which is a shame,
Yeah.
but it's still fine. And then, the Celestis kind of irons out a lot of stuff for you. The deck also plays the other channel, the channel ramper, dude, the Tanuki. So
Tanuki?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like a 6 drop, 6/5 trample, but it channels for 3 and it fetches you up a basic. And that's pretty nice as well. Dude, channels going places,
I gotta
man.
look it
It's an
up. I
amazing
know.
ability.
I'm looking at it right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah. It's an amazing ability.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You should check out this deck. I mean, I'll ship it over to you, but it's
This channel,
basically
you can't even counter it. That's so good.
that's what I'm saying, dude. So you can you save your ramp, right? Until the end of your opponent's turn.
Yeah.
Like if you need to interact, you do that instead. If you don't, you just ramp. It's so good, man. I'm a huge fan. The land comes in untapped. No, maybe it's tapped. Anyway, it's really good.
Yeah, it's tapped, but if you're doing it at the end of the opponent's turn, it probably doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's no biggie.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like your
Yeah, it's
style
an
of deck, man.
enchantment.
I mean, if
Yeah,
you're doing
the ones that you
Abzan,
can channel.
if you're doing Abzan Reanimator, it's like right up your alley.
Yeah, because you can just bring it back. You throw like 2 in the deck, and then you just bring it back with the Abzan Ultimatum.
There you
It's still
go, dude.
permanent.
Yeah, indeed.
Then you throw in 2 of those Sky Turtles. Once you cast Abzan Ultimatum, you just bring it back.
Yeah, that's 6/5s, dude. 6/5s are big. I was playing this game against
Yeah.
Mono White where I just slammed the Tanuki and they were just like, "Oh my God, what am I gonna do about that thing?" It's like a
It's
it's like a 6/5
it's so
trampler.
chonky.
Like
It's so chalky. I'm looking at the art. It's so chalky. It should be a 5/6. It's got a fat ass. Oh my God.
Oh my God, dude. It's a player, man. I maybe Tanuki's gonna
Might
start to
check
be
it
my
out.
my freaking brand as well.
Tanuki Turtles.
Tanukis and turtles,
So-
man.
That's gonna be your new team name. You're just the Tanuki Turtles. It'll be perfect.
So people have been talking about how Tanukis are they're like dogs, but they look like raccoons. It's kind of weird.
No, I have no idea. I thought they were like deer and raccoons. I thought they had some like weird deer thing
Maybe.
with them, like how dogs have wolf things in them.
I
They're
mean,
so much smaller.
that makes sense. Yeah, they're like
No idea.
miniature, but Tanukis. I mean, it's like a freaking raccoon. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Are they even real? I don't even know. Is it a real thing?
That's I guess. I don't know. I'm coming up to the limits of my knowledge here, man.
I know. I have no animal knowledge. I'm not Steve Irwin or anyone related.
Oh man, pouring out for Steve Owen, by the way. What an absolute legend.
For real. For real.
Huge,
Poor
huge
guy.
fan.
Miss
Huge
that
fan.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone has to be.
Dude,
Dang it.
I have
It's been so long.
I have a question. I'm so impressed with your Sodium City sign. Like, how did that
Thank
come
you.
about? How did you get that done?
The sign or the logo?
Tell me both. I mean, they're both sweet.
The logo came from the first people that did my graphics for my stream. It was really expensive, but they were extremely slow. They promised about a month, and it took a year and a half for them to finish
Holy
all my stuff.
crap,
Not even
dude.
joking. Not even joking. Not even
Wow.
joking.
All
Took
right.
forever to finish everything. It was ridiculous. They did amazing work. That's why I tried really hard not to get super pissed off because they were doing amazing work. It was just so slow. I was like, I can't handle it. It's like I need this or I'm getting a refund for real. And they're like, okay. And so,
Dude, it's
yeah.
so good though. It really is so
and
good.
then the sign, I just ordered it from some local place here. So I was looking for a bunch of different places, and I was thinking about getting one that was just like a glass sign that was etched and had like just LEDs or lasers pointing through it. That would have been cool. But I couldn't find anybody that was able to do any custom signs with that kind of detail, or one that could hang up on a wall like this. So this one is actually a sign that you would see like at a Walmart or a Target or whatever. It's an outdoor one that you would just see on the side. It weighs like 5 pounds. But yeah, they made that up for me. And yeah,
Dude,
I just put my own LEDs in it.
that's your Neon Dynasty right there, man. It's killer.
You know, it becomes more worth it over time. Because at first I was like, man, I think I regret this decision. Every time I buy something like that, I'm like, oh, this is such a bad idea. But then over time, you're like, okay, this is probably worth it. And then it gets more worth it. And then the compliments help, obviously. Like, yes, it's good. It's a good idea.
Dude, your grandkids are gonna dig that up someday and be like, wow, Grandpa was such a badass.
True. True. If I ever have kids, I don't know if that's happening.
There you go.
Yeah. Maybe we'll adopt one day. What about you? Are you a married man? Are you a
I'm
family
not.
man?
No, I'm
Oh.
I'm currently a single man.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Single.
Single.
Hear that, ladies?
I mean,
Or men?
you know,
No idea.
come at me, man. I
Both,
mean,
everything.
dude, the pandemic has just been so. I mean, it sounds like you're coupled, but like for us single people, man, the pandemic has just been rough times, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's been rough. How strict has your area been?
I mean, I'm in
I
Oregon.
don't know where you're at, and I don't know if you want to say.
Yeah, no, I'm
But-
yeah, just dox. Hella doxing on
Yeah.
the show, right? But no, yeah, I live in Oregon.
Like my address is.
But yeah, like I would say Oregon's like fairly strict. To me, it seems pretty sane. So like, I could pretty much, like if I wanted to go out, I could do all that kind of stuff. But like for me personally, I've been moderate. Like when it's surging, I try to keep to myself. But I've gone out dancing. I've done some stuff.
Nice.
I
Found
actually
anyone?
say again.
Have you found anyone?
No. I mean, I'm single, right? It's clearly.
Well, single doesn't mean you haven't gone on a date or something.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, if you corner me like that, yeah, no, I've really done very little. So here's the thing. I'm very. I don't know what the term is. People probably have like some, high tech term for this or whatever. But like, I'm not really into casual stuff. So, like, in order for me to even really be like truly turned on by someone, I have to be a certain amount of in love with them, and that's just like the way I am.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah, there's a term
So
for
you
it.
would never be able to have an open relationship.
I mean, I have before been in an open relationship. That was
Okay.
it was kind of that was an interesting situation. That's maybe when we're a few more martinis in, I'll I'll tell you about
Yeah.
that.
Wait. Yeah. Like, Because I could go on this forever. I have a lot of. I mean, you've kind of seen the stream. You know what's going on a little bit.
I mean, I respect it. I mean, honestly, I had trouble in my area for a while because where I live is like very alternative style of place. Um,
Oh.
and I actually had trouble for a long time just like finding someone who wanted to be in a like an old school style
An actual
monogamous
relationship.
relationship. Yeah.
Mm.
So, but yeah, I mean, that is my style. I acknowledge.
I didn't know there was a name for that.
What do you mean?
One that you would just have to have like some kind of love for the person.
There is. It's called, God, what's it called? It's like one of those eosexuals, you know? It's like not sapiosexual. It's like it's like another one of them. But there's a term for it that
Because
people.
for me, I wouldn't call it love. Mine is more of a. I have to have some type of emotional connection. At least, maybe not emotional. That sounds too much like love. Like I have to be able to get along with them.
Okay.
I mean, we have to have like something in common. I have to be able to talk with them. Because if they have a shit personality, I'm not gonna. I mean, they're probably shit in bed too, or something like that.
I mean that's how it passes for me, man. Like I don't even want to like take off my clothes or take someone else's clothes off if I'm not like having an interaction
not
with
into
someone
it.
that feels really compelling,
Yeah.
right? And so like yeah, that's it. Like the idea of just like bumping into someone at a bar and being like, "Oh, you're cute. Do you want to come back to my place?" and then just like doing the business. I mean, I don't judge it, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't judge it. It's just that
Yes.
like it doesn't
Okay, I totally get you.
that doesn't make my brain fire, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
My neurons aren't excited by that concept, so
Yeah. Yeah, I got you. Okay. Yes, I agree. I'm the same way. I know exactly what you're talking about now. It's got to be harder for you. Do you have groupies? Because you're in a. Are you actually in a band? You said you were a
no.
musician.
Yeah,
Are
I
you
am
actually in a band?
I'm a musician. It's been a long time since I've been in a band. Yeah.
Did you
Groupies,
have
dude.
groupies back in the day? Yeah, a little bit groupie action.
I was never successful enough to have what from a distance someone would call a groupie.
Mm.
I will say that and I was telling you that I'm a musician, but I actually don't know if you are as well. But
I used to be. I haven't
yeah,
been in a long time.
but I mean, I'm sure you've had the experience of like when you're on stage, for whatever reason, it just like raises your compelling factor by a little bit, right? So like I feel like people who maybe wouldn't have given me a second glance like would see me up on stage, and for some reason like in the mind you're like, "Oh, like that person's on stage, they must be important or they must be something," right? And then all of a sudden like
Confident. It
that
gives them. Yeah.
yeah, it just for whatever reason, right? Being on a pedestal, it just like makes you stand out a little bit more. But no, I've never had a
Mhm.
groupie. I'm like,
Wait, what instrument do you play?
dude, well, I mean, I started out as a drummer, but I mean, I play a
Okay.
lot of stuff now. I'm actually learning how to play the piano currently, which is
Oh, interesting.
the piano is kind of like my Everest, because I was raised in a very musical environment. My parents were actually like part of like a lot of people would describe it as a cult, like a spiritual group. Um,
Okay.
but
Not what I was expecting to hear there, but okay.
yeah, no, I mean they're like hardcore into a guru, and like they would travel around the world and go to these retreats, and like there was a whole, you know, like a lot of like singing and meditation and all that kind of stuff.
So like that one movie? Oh my God, what is that movie?
There's a
Yeah, hold on.
there's a series on Netflix about the what's his name? The Maharishi. No, it's not the Maharishi. It's called Wild Country or something like that.
Midsummer. That's what I'm
Oh,
talking
Midsummer? I actually haven't seen that. I actually haven't seen that movie. It looked weird though. It looked super weird.
It's so fucking weird. I saw it.
So
By the end, I was like, what is this? I like weird movies. And I was just like, what? What
yeah,
is
it's
happening
too
right
much
now?
even for you. Well, yeah, sure. You know what? Imagine my childhood was like it took place in Midsummer, and I get you'll you'll
It can't be that weird.
you'll understand me better, man. But
I would definitely understand somebody better if that happened.
I love it, man. I'm like playing roulette with my own history, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I grew up in this like weird environment, but part of it was just that like it was all like we were singing all the time and there was always like someone playing an instrument. And so I was really used to that paradigm of like people sing, you pick
Mhm.
up the tune, you follow along, you know, you pick up a tambourine and whatever. So like I just grew up playing
That's
instruments.
awesome though.
I mean, yeah, I mean it was really good for my musical brain and I got into drumming when I was 9 and that just really clicked for me. Part of it was I was just like this hyperactive kid, and I just wanted to whack stuff, right? And it's like you can see like when kids get behind a drum set, and they're like, "Oh, I can make so much noise." So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you're like, my poor cymbals.
Oh my God, yeah. There's
Because they have no idea how to hit cymbals. You're like, oh no.
oh dude, yeah. I inflicted severe bodily harm on that set for sure. But but yeah, I mean it's just, you know, that really got me going and then, you know, I picked up the guitar in my teens. I started to play the bass. But the piano was always difficult for me, and I don't know why. Like it was just with a lot of instruments I can like pick them up and noodle around with them and kind of get the feel for it. And I'm not going to be good, but I feel capable of just, you know, like getting somewhere. But for some
Uh-huh.
reason with the piano, like every time I just felt like no matter how much I played it, I just wasn't getting any better, you know? And so just recently I've decided like, fuck it, like I'm gonna do this. This is gonna be a thing.
What is the problem? Is it timing? Is it the ear that you don't have? Is it
No, it's the fingering, man. Just getting up and down the keyboard and just like finding the notes and being
oh
able to play
shit.
melodies and stuff. Like I just for whatever
Hmm.
reason, it's really unintuitive for me.
All right, so this is gonna sound stupid. Have you tried Keyboard Mania?
No, lay it on me.
It's it was a awesome arcade game. I don't know. I have no idea if they have it where you are, but it's a Japanese arcade game, kind of like 2DX or Dance Dance Revolution.
Hmm.
Same type of thing. It's made by Konami, but they have it, and the notes go down, and you have to use the
Oh, I've
actual. It's
seen
an
that,
actual
right?
keyboard. It's not a
They,
full keyboard,
yeah.
but it's like a short keyboard, and it'll actually help you get your positioning and everything right, at least on a half keyboard.
Yeah, no,
So
that sounds great. Just like gamifying the process.
yeah, I
Yeah,
know a
dude.
lot of people did that. I don't know how much it'll like actually work with training, but I mean, it forces you to be on beat and it
Mm,
forces you to have the right fingering, so
mm.
it'll at least get you the fundamentals.
No, I mean, I feel like it actually probably teaches you more than like Guitar Hero or whatever, right? Because like you're actually, you know what I mean?
Yes,
You're
it's on an
actually playing a
actual keyboard.
piano, right? So, I mean, that sounds
Yes,
great.
yes,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I'm here for that for sure. I'll check it out.
And it was hard.
Well, that's right.
I was very bad at it.
That's what
I
I'm
was very
saying.
bad at
It's
it.
a hard
I was like,
instrument.
what am I supposed to do with it?
It's a daunting instrument, you know? And when you sit down at like a
Yeah.
freaking grand piano, I mean,
Yeah. Be like, nope.
yeah, dude.
Absolutely not.
That's what I'm saying.
I think I started with the clarinet, which was really easy for me.
Sweet.
And then I moved on to the bass, which was really fun. And then moved on to guitar. Or, sorry, I moved on to drums. And then I was going to go to guitar, but then I went into more recording and production. And yeah, that was pretty much where I stopped.
Dude, that's dope.
It's been a long time.
So it sounds like your timeline
Yeah.
somewhat mirrors mine. I also got really into production. So what were you like a Pro Tools guy or were you doing more of like an
Yep.
electronic thing or what?
Yeah, I was a Pro Tools guy.
Nice, dude.
So that's what my dad had. My dad built a soundproof booth in the garage, And so he had his drum set in there because it was his drum set that I was playing. And it was all mic'd up and everything. And so we would record there, and then people could record their guitars and stuff in there. So I would record some local bands and stuff, and it was really cool. And then I was able to play drums for a couple of the drummers just because they weren't very good at staying on beat. So,
Oh man.
I mean, a lot of drummers, I mean, that's why there are studio drummers. I mean, that's why they exist, is because they're just better at that stuff.
So, okay, tell me, so as a drummer, does this happen for you as well? Where like I can listen to a band with a guitarist who's a little bit off, or like, you know what I mean? Like most instruments, if someone's not quite pulling their weight, I'm like, oh, well, whatever. But if I'm enjoying the tune, it's fine. But if I'm at a live show and there's a drummer who's just like dropping time or like messing up their fills or whatever, it kills me, dude. It kills me.
Yeah, I want to throw my shoe at them.
I'm just like, you had one job, man. Like, keep that beat.
Yeah,
You know?
you are the beat.
Yeah.
That's your job as the drummer. That is your job.
Yeah. It would frustrate me so much. I just like, you see these drummers who like they want to play fast, they want to play fancy, they want to do this flashy stuff, and the train just comes off the rails, you know? And then like I noticed the bands I would enjoy just like had some like four on the floor, like keep it steady drummer, you know? And I'd be like, dude, this like it's simple, but like this is a jam. I can get down to this.
Yeah. See, I needed something a bit extra. The more I learned about music, I don't know if it was the more jaded I got. Probably the more jaded I got. Just because, I don't know. I always needed something different. I always had a rough time listening to the same music. So every like 2 or 3 years, it's probably less than that, but maybe every year, I change up a lot of my music and a lot of my musical tastes just because I feel like I need something different. So whenever new music comes out, I usually go to that style of music. And a lot of times it's underground, or I'll go back to an older music style I'd listen to, but since it's evolved like 10 years, it's pretty different. And it's always different. I can't listen to like the same music from 20 years ago. I can't do 80s music.
Oh, dude, tell me about it, man.
Old people that still listen to the 80s and 70s music. Like, you've been listening to the same CD for 40 years? How is this? How? I don't, how? How many times do you have to listen to Sandman before you're like, okay, whatever. I've heard it a billion times. We're fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, I'm no longer impressed. I've heard better now.
I mean, this like, you know, there are some, like, as an example, the Beatles, right? Like, I grew up listening to the Beatles, classic band, amazing musicians. I still put their jams on sometimes, but it's not like on main rotation. You know what I mean? Like, it's.
I would never have Beatles on any rotation except for Bad Music 101.
Oh no, shots fired, dude. Shots fired. I mean,
they were like a garbage jazz band. That's what they were trying to be.
You've got to have some cojones to come up against the greatest rock band of all time, man. I applaud you for that.
They were a bad jazz band. They were not a rock band. I'm telling you.
Have you listened to the Beatles?
Yes, unfortunately.
You know, okay, so how about this? Like, were you a Stones guy? Did you fall on another side of that divide? Or is it just that you hate music, like old music?
I was raised on a lot of the old music because my dad was really into it. And he listened to a lot of progressive rock, like Dream Theater, Rush. But then even before that, it was like Phil Collins, stuff like that. But I think most of the stuff we listened to was maybe late 70s, 80s. I listened to a little bit of Beatles. Like, I think my mom listened to it. And maybe I didn't like it when I was growing up because my mom listened to it, and it just wasn't cool because it was my mom's music. It might have been that. But But even looking back, when I've heard it again, I'm like, what is this? And then they're like, it's the Beatles. I'm like, it all makes sense. It's just,
I mean,
I don't think I've ever heard a Beatles song that I've enjoyed.
fair
I don't
enough.
think. Maybe there has been one and I just didn't know it was the Beatles. It's possible. It's possible and I just don't remember. But I just haven't been there. I don't know. But yeah, I don't like any old music anymore. I don't think I like anything in the 90s anymore. I think I'm just over all of it.
Dude, a band that really didn't age well was Sublime. I remember being in like the late 90s and everyone was about Sublime, right? It was like you'd go to like,
Weren't they early 90s though?
I mean,
Weren't they like 93, 94?
yeah, I mean that's when they really started popping off, right? But like
Oh, did the guy die?
he did.
Is that what happened?
Bradley Knoll died, yeah. But
Yeah.
like even, because I was in high school in like the early 2000s, right? And even then, like like in 2004 or 2005, you could walk into a house party and Santeria would come on and people would be jamming. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like there was still
Yes.
this like nostalgia for Sublime. And then like you fast forward like 10 years and it is embarrassing. You do not want to be the guy at the party who throws on Sublime, you know what I'm saying? And like they fell from grace, man.
That's actually really true. I don't hear anybody
When,
listening to
when was the
Sublime
last time
anymore.
you heard or even saw someone wearing a Sublime shirt? Like what?
I think
Like
the last time I heard Sublime at a house party, someone actually went over and changed the song.
that's what I'm saying, dude.
I'm pretty sure. I'm like 99% sure. Which is really funny because I didn't even notice it at the time. I was like, "Oh, thank God somebody changed the song." Which is so weird. I never thought about it. That's really weird.
It's just funny,
But I used
isn't
to
it?
love Sublime.
Me too.
It's the same with like the Offspring.
Yeah.
I don't really listen to them anymore at all
No.
either.
No.
And pretty much I would say Real Big Fish I can't listen to anymore. Used to be a
Yeah.
big ska person.
That's especially
while.
ska was such a flash in the pan, during that period. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, I haven't listened to it, but it doesn't surprise me, because it was such a kind of an insular scene. I do remember we had some local ska bands, in my town. I think I was living in upstate New York at the time, and there was definitely a ska scene. And I mean, I fucked with some ska, man. It was a good time.
Yeah.
It's been a while now.
Yeah, it was definitely fun.
It's been a
Yeah, it
while.
has been a long time. I just I heard a couple songs again. I was like, why are they just complaining the whole time? Is this all they're doing? Is this all it is? It's just them complaining? Kind of went through the songs. That's all it is. It's just complaining.
Dude, I've never heard such a succinct takedown of ska, but you're so right. I mean, that's the genre in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's
But
so weird.
It's
So what music do you play? We never even
yeah, I
established
mean,
this. What?
I don't know. Okay, if I were, I mean, I've played in a lot of different bands. I played in a reggae band for a while. In high
Did you
school.
do dub?
No, not so much dub. No, it's more like roots, basically like roots influenced reggae. We were like playing Marley songs and shit like that. But and I played some rock in high school and stuff, but like electronic music is really the music that has like stayed with me and influenced me the most. And I think if I were to play,
What kind? That's very generic.
I mean, that's true. I mean, like, I guess I got started. Okay,
I'm a
so
big electronic guy, so
you,
we can.
we can jam on that. All right, cool. Well,
Yes. Yeah.
so I mean I got started like in the 90s with like The Prodigy, right? I was listening to
Okay. Yeah, same.
and this was before like I'm talking about like the experience, like I'm talking about the older like before Fat of the Land came out and it was the whole like
Hmm.
rock Prodigy thing. So I was listening to like all of their just like super club techno tracks, right? And then yeah, like in the late 90s, my family moved back to London. And so I was in like middle school or something. And my older brother was like going out to drum and bass clubs and stuff like that in London.
Ooh.
And dude, so he was going to metalheads all the time and stuff, and like
Hell yeah.
he was just like playing me this stuff that was blowing my mind. So I got way, way into drum and bass. Um,
Yeah.
and at this, I mean, but he showed me a lot of stuff. So he also introduced me to
Wait,
Aphex.
did you skip house?
So that's actually a really the funny thing, yeah, is that
That's
like
that was more Chicago and New York. That's true.
so here's
And if
I
you went
mean,
back to London, there was no house, right?
well, okay, so there's plenty of love for like house and rave in England, and there was still at that time. But I think part of it was just that like England and London in particular had so many other styles that were really popping off in the 90s. So like, like you
Mhm.
had, yeah, there's this whole jungle thing, and then, all of these other like
Yes.
breakbeat, just all of these breakbeat genres were popping, right? And then I was gonna say like
Yeah.
Aphex Twin was doing his thing and he's English, right? And so like his music was
That's
just
true.
like melting people's minds, you know what I mean? And
Well, yeah.
so I mean
It
sure
still
like
melts people's minds.
people, yeah, right? I mean but people
Did you
were
listen to his newer album?
Cyro.
Is that what it's called? I don't even remember what it's called. But his latest one, I think, what was it, like 4 years ago?
It's
5 years ago?
probably Cyro you're talking about. I mean he's had a bunch of like he had like his SoundCloud dump, right? Where he released like something like 200 uh uncredited tracks and just like dumped them on some anonymous SoundCloud, and someone found them and was like, "Oh my God, like this is totally Aphex Twin." Um so I mean he's released a lot of music in a clandestine way, but yeah, I think his last like official release was Cyro.
Yeah.
And that album is
Aphex
actually
Twin for guitar.
what?
In 2021, he came out with an EP with 6 songs.
Really? No, I haven't heard that.
It's called Me Either.
Wow.
Oh, it has Flim. There's a new Flim and Avril 14th. Is this just a bunch of remakes?
Dude, are you sure this is him?
Alberto Balsam? What the hell? It's on Spotify, so I would
Really?
assume so.
Wow. That's gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, I will put that. That's in Discord too. I I wonder if it actually has guitar stuff on there. That's interesting.
But if
Huh.
no, that must be like some kind of cover album or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cyro was his latest. That was actually back in 2014, but I would highly recommend that album. It's really good. So, one of the things that I've noticed about Aphex Twin over time is that his stuff just sounds better, like from a production standpoint. It still blows my mind, like what he's able to do with his production. And
Yeah.
like everyone has drums, right? But like no one's drums sound as good as his drums sound. And like everyone's doing like, of course this whole like analog retro synth thing has been back in for a while, and like no one does it like him. Like you should listen to Cyro actually, because
Yeah.
that was him kind of like I think somewhat riding that wave of being like, oh, people actually like old synthesizers now. I'm gonna release an album that's, kind of celebrates that.
Huh.
It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, I heard a few songs, but I don't remember. Because I listened to it when it came out, but that was so long ago.
Yeah. So, I mean, so I think that's what was happening in London. I'm sure there were plenty of people who are like still going out to clubs and dancing to house. It's just like,
Hmm.
that's not what I was getting exposed to, right? And it's actually funny you mentioned that because I didn't really get into house until probably like 5 years ago. And
Really?
yeah, which I acknowledge, right, as a lifelong lover of electronic music, I acknowledge that that's a pretty massive kind of hole in my appreciation. But
Yeah.
'Cause there's no good house anymore.
I mean, I'm with you there. I'm with you there. Yeah. But and I think that that's maybe one of the reasons I resisted it is that like I would hear a lot of house and I never liked any of it. And I think I just like I developed an impression of house as being like a really cheesy genre, right? But I knew that there were people who, you know, had done good stuff, and I knew that if I wanted to really get into it, you know, I could go down that rabbit hole. And I can't claim to really know what I'm talking about with house even still. I mean, like for example, the artist that got me really into house was actually Dead Mouse, which is like not, you know, it's like so mainstream, right? So
Yeah.
like I'm definitely not like a crate digger or anything when it comes to house, you know, but I mean I have really started to appreciate it. So
I might have to send you some stuff
yeah,
then,
yeah, yeah. You should send me the good shit for sure.
because yeah, 'cause I know some good ones from back in the day, but I don't know many good ones now.
Yeah.
Did
I
you get into grime? Since you're into drum and bass, I assume you got into grime.
I honestly I don't even know what that means.
Oh,
Yeah.
because it's like UK and London grime. It was like created over there.
What was the era
And
like
I want
what?
to say in the mid 2000s.
Yeah,
It
that's
was it was kind of what started dubstep
oh okay.
before it
Got it.
was like the bro step.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started to fall off around that time. I am not a fan of dubstep in any way, shape, or form. Actually, it's funny.
Dang.
Uh, you know, someone was shitting on the Beatles, so I'm gonna go ahead and have it out. Yeah, you know what's funny? A friend of mine just turned me on to a dubstep artist, and it's like the first dubstep I've ever liked, ever. And I don't even remember this person's name. Oh, it's Goth Trad. Have you ever listened to Goth Trad?
Never heard of them.
Yeah, it's Japanese dubstep artist doing some really, really cool shit. So
Interesting.
that was the first time I'd ever listened to a dubstep track and really, you know, like really felt it. But
Did you ever listen to Flux Pavilion?
no.
Okay. You might like him because he's not bro steppy, but
Mm,
he was one of the godfathers of that type of dubstep.
hmm
And I guess he said he regretted making a couple of those songs because it evolved into that.
Okay. He kind of disowned it after the fact. Got
Yeah.
it.
But he still makes like dubstep,
Yeah.
and uh but it's actually, I like his more because he makes bass. The way he makes his bass is
Mm,
so unique compared to everyone
mm,
else's. It's kind of like how Aphex Twin has his own like unique style of drum.
yeah.
That's Flux Pavilion's bass.
Mm,
But
okay.
he has a lot of different kinds of bass, like a lot of different ones that are very unique to him. Although a lot of EU people have the same style of bass when it comes to all of that, all electronic music for the most part,
Yeah.
I guess.
No, that has been really interesting for me to follow as well. That kind of like European versus like North American like sound in electronic music. And I have to say, I have tended to side with the Europeans, and it's probably just how I came up, you know?
Yeah, I'm a mix of both because Flux
Mm,
Pavilion is European.
mm-hmm.
I don't know where at, but yeah, a lot and Rusko. Rusko is one of my favorites, and he's European. I think the
Totally.
dubstep artists that I like are all European,
Mm-hmm.
but the people who collaborate with others, I really like because once Skrillex started collaborating with other people, in other genres,
Yeah.
that's when I started respecting it more,
Yeah.
like a lot more, because it got other people's style in there, and it was really different because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what I appreciated about it, is because you could see elements of everyone's style in that song, but it still sounded good, or it didn't sound bad, rather.
Yeah. No, I mean,
So,
I've got huge respect for Skrillex. Like it's not necessarily my jam. You know, well, it's funny. What this conversation is actually making me realize is that like I think a lot of my tastes in electronic music are still, they cap around like 2010, you know? And I feel like I can't think of an artist that has been like really active and influential since then who has like really gripped me in the same way. I mean, part of it's just ignorance. Like I haven't kept up. You know what I mean? Like I haven't done a lot of
yeah.
listening. So I'm sure that there is
Mhm.
stuff that would really grip me. But you know, like it's really interesting how I wasn't listening to a lot of electronic music over the last, I would say, 6 or even 7 years. I
Wait, what do you listen to now then?
Well, no, I've been getting back into it recently. But there was a long period there where it's almost like I got tired of music. I started to listen to a lot of ambient stuff, and I'm not talking like ambient electronic. I'm talking like super, like if you ever heard of Stars of the Lid, I was listening to their stuff. A lot of their stuff is like it's like
Is it like
orchestral.
space ambient?
It's it's like orchestral ambient. So like a lot of that stuff is just
Ah,
like it's just like really textural strings. Or as another example,
okay.
I was listening to the Necks, and
I gotcha.
they're basically like an ambient jazz trio. So I was just, yeah, dude, you you should check out the Necks, man. They're great. Necks, like, you know,
That's
your neck.
crazy.
Yeah. So I was getting into a lot of almost like subliminal music, you know, and
Yeah.
so I was doing that for a while,
All right.
and recently I've been like really,
That's the one I just sent you, Dream State Logic. That's my that's my ambient that I've been listening to.
oh,
That's what I
sweet.
listen to on stream now,
Okay.
just because it's like cosmic down tempo
Hell yeah.
is what it calls it, or space ambient. So it is electronic, but it's I don't know. It's very ambient. It's very ambient, but
Nice.
it's good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll definitely check that out. I'm a fan of ambient music for sure. Um,
Yeah.
but like here's an example. I've been kind of going back and trying to rediscover and just like see what's out there. And I discovered The Field, right? Which is, I don't know if you are familiar with him, but like you know, he was making stuff in like, yeah, it was probably like the late aughts and then like up into the twenties as it were. And that's just like amazing,
Oh,
amazing music. Uh, I'll, yeah. After this, I'll hook you up with a little goodie bag of stuff that I've been really digging. Um,
all right. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out.
yeah, yeah. But you know, so
Hmm.
that's kind of where I'm at. I would definitely, yeah, like some more contemporary stuff that you think is really, you know, like best in class or like trend setting or whatever. I'd be very interested to hear because I have been kind of out of it.
Yeah. A
Yeah.
lot of the stuff that I've been listening to isn't really trend setting. It's very odd.
Mm.
Um, but not like Aphex Twin odd, but I don't know how to explain it.
Just
It's
like
like
some random folks in some random place making some random music kind of situation.
kind of, but it's really good producers,
Mm.
like quality producers making quality music. It's like chill music, but it has also really good singers in it, but it's different singers the whole time, like
Oh,
in every
nice.
different track,
Okay,
which
sweet.
I really like. And then another group that I really like is probably my favorite group I've ever seen live, was one called Big Gigantic.
Hmm.
And they're an electronic group, but and it's just two people. The guy that's doing the main DJ stuff, he also plays the saxophone, but he does it live. So they do a lot of like jazz and funk stuff. So that's really cool. And the other guy, he plays the drums. And so there's just live saxophone, live drums, and then it's also electronic music. And it's just like it was the best show I've ever been to. It was so fucking awesome.
Dude, that sounds amazing. And actually, so to bring it full circle, you asked me like what music do I play? And if I were to like be in a serious group, like gigging and trying to get somewhere these days, it would be something like that. Like it would be some hybrid of like, like playing instruments, but basically in an electronic music template. Because I just,
Those seem to be the most fun
yeah.
when actually going to it live. Unless you're a really good entertainer. That was one of the things that I think Skrillex was the best at, and I think that's why he took off the way he did. But that was because he was in from first to last for like whatever 6 years before that.
Yeah.
And then once I don't know, he was on tour. I remember he said I saw an interview. He said he like dropped out of school, but he was doing his GED. He was studying for that, and he was on tour. He did over 365 shows every single year because he would do 2 in a day sometimes.
Damn, dude.
He did that more than 360 in a day or in a year, for like 2 or 3 years in a row. I think it was. Like, dude,
That is
so
just
crazy. How
wow.
do you do that?
Wow.
Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, dude.
No, I mean, if you're talk about putting yourself in a position to get famous,
Yeah.
it's the best way to do it. Be everywhere all the time, and you're just setting yourself up for success.
Totally.
Everything comes down to luck when it comes to that stuff, but the more places you are, the higher chance. It's like
That's
getting
it.
more lottery tickets. Yeah.
No, that's it, man. It's like building your deck to reward your top deck, right? Like that's what it is, man. It's all luck, but some decks are built for luck better than other ones.
Yeah, better lucky than good.
There you go, dude. Better lucky than good. Yep.
Yeah.
Love it, man.
Even a blind pig finds an occasional acorn.
Well, dude, it's been a pleasure being here.
Oh yes, it has been a while.
It's kind of getting on, and I think I'm getting to the end of my ability to make either informative or entertaining points. But if
All right.
if there's anything else you've been wanting to ask me or whatever, now might be a good time.
I think we're good.
Nice,
Definitely want to talk about music more sometime, just cause
dude.
music. But
Absolutely.
we can do that in DMs.
Yeah,
sure.
no, absolutely, dude. I'll follow up with you. I'm really curious. I feel like you'll be able to fill in a lot of like blank areas of my knowledge, so I'm really stoked about that.
Yeah, and if you have some good ambient music, especially if it's like weird orchestral ambient stuff, that sounds so fascinating.
Oh, dude, I'll hook you up, man, for sure.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, yeah, why don't you let
Awesome.
everyone know how to find you?
Sounds good. Arena Craft Podcast, we're available pretty much anywhere. You can find us on Spotify. A lot of people feel like we're not there, but we are actually there. You can also find us on Covert Go Blues YouTube channel. So that's a good place to actually see the talking heads. I stream periodically on Twitch. I'm mostly a weekend warrior when it comes to streaming, and I'm not trying to be stuck in some schedule, but that's when you can catch me if you're going to catch me. So, yeah, man.
And then Twitter, of course.
I am active on Twitter. Yep, I do. I do participate in the shitstorm known as Twitter. You know what's funny, man? I joined Twitter as kind of a vehicle to grow the podcast. So I was not active on Twitter before then. And I remembered being like, oh yeah, this Twitter thing, like I'm kind of getting into it. I hang out here every now and then. And then like I was looking at the other day and I've tweeted like 5,000 times or something like that. And I was just like, oh my God, dude, this is the singularity.
My life, what does it come to?
That's what I had this moment of like, who have I become? You know, like I could not believe it. That's like 20.
I hate.
That's like 2,500 tweets a year, dude. That is,
Oh my God.
that's like some volume right there.
That's not that bad. I mean,
I'm
that's
like
what, 3 a day?
I'm probably exaggerating a bit, but it's like it's in the thousands. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's happening. So, anyway, yeah, you can find my usually not very worthwhile thoughts on Twitter as well.
Yeah. All the links will be in the description if you're on YouTube as well, and all the podcast. We're on all major podcast platforms as well. Or competition.
Dude, a rising tide lifts all boats, man. I'm stoked to doing this.
Yeah, it was nice to have you on. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you all so much for watching to the very end. I do appreciate it. It helps the channel grow, especially since it's a new one. So please share it with anybody who you think might be interested. Hit that subscribe button, bell notification, and leave a comment.